My mother was born in Hanoi and basically grew up in Vientiane and met my father there, and that's where I was born in March of 1975. Basically, the Thai families were aware that Saigon and South Vietnam was going to fall soon to the communists. So many Thai families packed up their items once again. They took what they could on their backs, and with the help of the Thai leaders, crossed the Mekong River from Vientiane to Nong Khai, Thailand. And so we went from Nong Khai, Thailand, to the south in Utapao. And from there, my family flew from Utapao to Camp Pendleton, which is located in California. We stayed there for about a week and then flew from Camp Pendleton to Des Moines, Iowa. A lot of people don't realize that we weren't just refugees here in the United States, but my family they were refugees in Hanoi, they were refugees in Laos for 20 years, and now refugees here in Iowa for nearly 45 years. In Laos, they lost 20 years of rebuilding their lives, right? They lost their jobs, homes that they literally built by hand, the wealth and all the investment really that goes along with that too. But most of all, the Thai people lost our identity and our sovereignty, right? We don't have a country. We're a nationless people now. And with that is the loss of our culture and language, which is also dying now. Moving to Iowa, I would say, was a major culture shock for my parents. Living in Laos, we're ethnically related, so the food and the language and the culture was very similar. But here in Iowa, it was totally different. One of my earliest memories was entering kindergarten. That was a really tough time for me because I was always so used to being with family all the time. And I couldn't speak English very well, although my parents had taught me the alphabets and how to spell my name, Matsalyn. But when I entered school, the teacher thought that I should shorten my name to Lynn. And so that was hard getting used to. Sometimes I wouldn't respond because Lynn wasn't my name and I wasn't used to being called by that name. And I remember not really understanding what the teacher said, but by the time I finished kindergarten, I was speaking it fluently. I remember when my grandmother had a stroke and my parents were afraid to lose their jobs, right, by taking so much time off. They sent us grandchildren to be translators for her. And I remember I was about 15, 16 years old, and here we were translating for my grandmother who had this, major health issue. And I didn't think about it at the time. It was just normal, I would say. But when I think about it now, it was certainly an important task. And I didn't think about the weight that it had put on our shoulders, to have this responsibility and not be a regular teenager like everyone else. So growing up, I always wanted to learn about the Thai and my culture because I couldn't get those answers from my grandmother, my parents, or maybe I just wasn't at a point where I could fully understand what that meant. So by the time I was in college, my major was actually in anthropology and Asian studies, and I always wanted to learn about the truth, right, of people's stories, and that translated to the truth of our story and what it really meant to be Thai and what our journey really was like. So today I work for the University of Iowa as the assistant to the dean of the University of Iowa Tippie College of Business. In Iowa, the Taidam celebrate our culture annually. We have a Thai village, which is located on Martin Luther King Jr. Parkway in Des Moines. Every Labor Day weekend since the village was established in 2003, except for last year due to the pandemic, we hold a festival. The festival showcases our culture through dances, singing, food, and fashion. My definition of resilience is persistence, right? To live and to do it successfully, and to keep going no matter what comes your way. And really, I would say that the Taidam has been my model for that. They've gone through so much, and we know that we will exist. The people will remain. We hope that our culture and language will thrive, and we'll continue on as we have been. I feel like the Taidam as a group have been very lucky and really blessed, right? We had leaders who advocated for us. We had our Taidam leaders. We had President Gerald Ford. We had former Governor Robert Ray. And without the help of all that coming together, we wouldn't be where we are. And so with that, I hope that our younger generation understand that they also need to advocate for themselves and for others and for our community as well.